Hello, welcome everybody. The Raw Reacts. Here we go on a Monday. Uh, Format's going to be a little bit different here because I think there's a couple of significant things on both ends of the spectrum that we have to cover. We'll start with the positive, and congrats to Naomi and Big Jim. That's probably the most entertaining title surrendering promo that we have ever heard, that we ever had from a now former champion Naomi. But staying in character, she's putting in great work. It's a deeper conversation we're gonna have on the podcast this week, because women are in a tough position in pro wrestling. Like, this is not even just a, normal job where, if you do get pregnant, you can keep working almost all the way to, and then you take maternity leave in pro wrestling and in sports. But I think you could say that pro wrestling is probably the most popular women's sport in America. More people follow women's professional wrestling than any other women's pro league in general. So, we don't, and that's no shade to anybody else. That's no shade to the WNBA, but more people watch women's pro wrestling than anything else. So, this is new territory. We saw it a little bit with Becky. Or we definitely saw it with Becky. You're going to see here with Naomi. The moment you're pregnant, you can't do anything. You're out. You can't wrestle. These companies are not going to take that liability. So, for Naomi, that's 9 months. I know she said 9 months is some change, but some change is maternity leave. And in pro wrestling, maternity leave for women is well over a year. So I would venture to say the next time we see Naomi in the ring, and again, I know she said 9 months. That gets you to, I know how to do math. That gets you to May of 26. And then maternity leave. On top of that, with the baby, being generous, let's go another 6 months after that. So you're probably looking at, at that point, that's November of 26. And you're probably not bringing her back till War Rumble season 2027. So, that's how long these take. And again, it's a conversation piece we need to have. Not in the sense of, we got to figure out a solution, but it's the reality of the business. And it's really tough for women because on one hand, professionally, you want to go. Have the, Naomi, best work of her career. 16 years in, best work of her career. But at some point, you want to start your family. Now, Big Jim, Big Jim, he keep going. Big Jim keep going. On SmackDown, keep doing his thing. And then, when the baby arrives, maybe he takes a few weeks off. But, so, all in all, as far as the promo, and my current vote for my favorite promo of the week, we'll see what Kyle thinks. But the promo is outstanding. Really good stuff. Again, I will be consistent in the sense of, man, do we need to rely on cursing all the time to really bring things home? But it was delivered creatively. So that's the difference. It wasn't just spitting out curse words for the heck of it. It was delivered creatively. It was only used one time. And it had reasoning behind it. So it's good stuff. Again, we'll talk more Naomi on the show this week. There was a lot of other things that happened on the show that progressed storylines again. We got an update on Bailey, going back to the Ding Dong Hello. And, she's Randy Orton. She's hearing voices in her head now. The Bailey development, that stuff was good. Raquel Rodriguez, again, her in-ring work is phenomenal. It's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. She's doing an unbelievable job. And, it's just a lot of cool stuff. A lot of people are doing a lot of great stuff. I have to mention one glaring thing, though. And, I've talked with pro wrestling fans in and about across the spectrum. And the consensus among a lot of people that I've talked to is that WWE, in particular Monday Night Raw, very predictable. Very predictable. We do this show just because it's fun to break down stories. It's fun to talk about great matches. And again, the story can go this way. The story can go that way. The story can go here. And maybe the joy of that has been taken away on the WWE side of things because the stories have been predictable. I know this week the main event was an Extreme Rules match, so technically there was a finish. But we had a stretch seemingly all summer long where main events are ending in DQs. We now have multi-man championship matches. We're already penciling it. Like I have a pen. I could write in that Seth Rollins is going to retain us in 10 days or whatever. That Sunday. Clash at Paris. Seth Rollins is going to retain. You can already write that in. You can already write in Roman Reigns is going to beat Bronson Reed. You can write it. Like, there's a lot of things that you could write in. And, Cody Rhodes is going to keep the championship until Mania. Seth Rollins is going to keep the championship until WrestleMania. There's got to be some... And I saw this theory. Maybe this holds true. But in 2025, where we are driven by our phones, internet, social media, quick, although there needs to be substance. I'm not saying rush everything. But maybe something shocking wouldn't be so bad, right? Maybe LA Knight winning the world title wouldn't be a bad idea. Even if he didn't pin Seth Rollins, he pinned CM Punk. Something different. Something where, WWE can get back in the conversation and be good to go. We're not getting that with WWE right now. And, for a fan, watching tonight's show felt a little bit like a chore, even though there was good stuff. Again, Io Sky, there was good stuff. But things seemingly are predictable. And I think that's a major problem. And, something has to be shaken up. Again, I'm not asking for the WWE Championship to be booked like it was in 1999, where there were title changes every 3 weeks. But isn't that the most talked about time period in the history of WWE programming, the Attitude Era? People like to talk poetically about the Attitude Era, but the championship changed hands every 3 episodes. So, again, I'm not advocating for that level of frequency, but I am advocating for, let's get some kind of change and excitement, some unpredictability to these shows. And I think compared to 2024, I think that's where people might be dropping off a little bit with WWE, and particularly Monday Night Raw. When you are announcing that the main event is Jey Uso and Braun Breaker, you already knew in your mind there's going to be, Bronson Reed's going to get involved, Seth Rollins is going to get involved, CM Punk's going to get involved, LA Knight's going to get involved. And if you read the spoilers, you knew Roman Reigns was going to be in attendance as well. So, I think you got characters who are over. I just think the stories are leaving a lot to be desired right now. And when you're at a point where you don't believe that LA Knight, CM Punk, Jey Uso, you don't believe any of these guys are going to win the match, a fatal four-way might as well be a 20-man battle royal. So, that's the big takeaway that I have for that. So this is not the normal things I like, things I didn't like. Again, congratulations to Naomi, but I think moving forward, this is going to be a major thing that WWE is going to have to address. Because I will tell you, in 2025, WWE has not gained new fans. Like last year they gained new fans. This year, I don't think they've gained. The initial Netflix excitement, yes, but I think post WrestleMania, you might have people who love the stuff that's going on with John Cena, and the people who watch WWE are pretty happy, but they're not gaining new fans. So, all right, that's my tangent. Tomorrow, let's do this with NXT. NXT actually has a big show in Philadelphia, so a lot at stake tomorrow. We'll talk about it. We'll break it down with our reacts. And big week of wrestling, AEW Dynamite, and of course we got our show coming up this Friday. So stay close. Again, these videos brought to you by W Energy, all natural flavors, no artificial flavors, no artificial sugars, and a lot of good stuff, but sugar free. So, all right, you guys have a great night, and we'll see you again tomorrow.